So I was just getting ready to move on to the next thing in the morning, and I see a couple hens here with some yellow. Yeah, I caught you. These guys got some yolk on their face, so. And there's some yellow on this egg. They didn't eat that egg, but these are fake eggs, so they're not gonna eat those. Gosh, you're not hurting Amber, are you? All right, Amber? You wanna come out and eat? Come on, Amber. Amber's feeling pretty light and frail today. It's getting really cold this next week, so let's go get her some food and warmth. So Miss Amber here, she's our oldest chicken. We got her, she was already, I think, about 6 months old when we got her. We got her late summer 2016. So she is at least 8 years old now. And she is feeling pretty light, frail, and she's been really conserving energy lately. So I've got an area where I put our sick chickens, but basically I can heat her up and then let her get some food. And it's gonna be a really cold week coming up. We've got 0 degrees during the day and negative temps at night. So let's go warm up Amber here and show you how our freezing days go. So what are your thoughts on Amber?
Oh, she's so thin, so light. She looked like she was doing good yesterday. She's out walking around in the snow.
So this is a couple days before we get the really bad temps where it gets down to 0, negative 10, negative 20. And a lot of times we end up putting hay in the coop here because we have a mesh floor. We always want them to poop through from the rest of the year. So right now, Vicky has the idea to put some paper sacks down.
So it's gonna get really cold this week and next week. And so we thought just to keep the airflow down, put the bags down and be a little bit warmer in here for these guys and girls.
We've had issues with parasites in the past, and it's gonna be really cold, but sometimes when that hay, when it starts to get warmed up, some of that can live in the hay. And
it's not too bad. Once it's not so windy, I don't think it'll blow up too much, but as soon as it gets windy, I think it'll be all over the place. So let's put some wood chips down, just kind of look down. What do you think? Better than nothing?
Yeah, that should keep everything's closed up, so. Wow.
She's an old little chicken.
Good thing we found her before it got really cold in the next couple days.
I know. Just need to warm her up. Hope she can get through it. She's a good little girl. She won't even open her eyes.
Yeah. We're gonna do bowls probably for water. That's good for feed. She's not moving around a lot right now, but hopefully in the next couple hours with this heat lamp coming down on her and her own space to get food and drink, she'll start to come back out of it. Well, we've been having issues with our milk machine. The milk machine's about 4 years old now, and we've been trying to diagnose it with MIDI supply. They've helped us figure out the problem, but now we're waiting on the part to come in. We had a capacitor, this little tube that broke down, and so they're sending us some new ones, but basically it's running on 1 of 2, so it's really low power and sometimes it cuts out, but hopefully we can make it through our milking session today, and then we'll get a few days off during the really cold parts of this when we have Dolly back in with the other cows. Wow, almost 2 gallons of milk.
Yeah, that's good. Especially for this weather right now.
So one of the things I'm really glad we did was we ran solid power out here this year when we ran the power to the aviary. Power over there to the water, so that stays thawed out. We had to run a extension cord last year, and then we ran power over here. We had issues when it would get below freezing where the battery would just die out really quick and we'd have to run the generator. So luckily, no power issues. As soon as we get the milking done, then we can open these barns back up and they can come in here and eat. So we'll let them come into these barns. Of course, they're still open, but they can come in and lay in the hay and they can eat in here and not have to try to eat out there. They will have to go out there for water, but luckily it's staying thawed out. So I got the emus separated this morning. So we'll have the white males and peekaboo who's laying eggs in the first one. Pretty much like we did some of last year where we're just gonna flip bamboo over with cashew. I tried to walk him in a little bit ago, but he started to run from me. We moved cashew in the horse barn for now, but we'll move her after this. It's gonna be a long trip for her.
So we've learned putting a pillowcase over their head calms them down in a bit, and they'll walk with you. They can't see where they're going, so you can kind of lead them along pretty easy, and they don't struggle. Yeah. There you go. You're back home.
So we're gonna put the 2 white males in here. We think they have the best chance of breeding with peekaboo. They have the 5 eggs in here. We've got 5 eggs in the incubator, so hoping that they breed with her and we continue or get some fertile eggs if they're not fertile yet. So we'll have the 3 of them in here, and then now we'll go get cashew out of the horse barn and put her in with bamboo over here.
So we think this is going to be a good situation for these guys. Out in the field, he was just hunkered down into a corner, just trying to get warm. He wouldn't go into the barn very often. I don't know if he's scared of the horses. They kind of bully him around, and then he stopped eating. So he wouldn't go in the barn and get some food. He wouldn't go in there for shelter. So we're hoping this is a better situation and keeps him warm. He's already immediately into this barn, and hopefully he'll make his way over and get some food when he gets warmed up. There he goes. He's in the corner.
So here's Cashew. She's been in this stall since this morning. I moved her in here just because she was laying down behind the barn in some, basically just freezing in place. So we want to get her some food, but if we move her in there, she'll have shelter, food, and she'll have companionship with bamboo. So out here she's been pretty much by herself because the Ernie's been over by himself and she's been over here by the barn.
Yeah, go on in. You can go in. Bamboo's in there. Snuggle next to him. He'll keep you warm.
So of course she grew up with Bamboo when she was hatched, and Bamboo was like 2-3 months old. They've been together, last year they were together in this area, but she started to pick on Bamboo a little bit, I think through breeding season, so he ended up hanging out by himself. So I'm hopeful that because of the weather they'll be able to get along here, and maybe if she lays eggs this year, she hasn't laid eggs, maybe she'll lay them in here, because we'd have a really hard time finding them out in the field if she did that. So Uriah went out to feed the button quail this morning, and he gave us some pretty bad news regarding Amber.
Maybe she's just too weak. Poor girl.
You remember when we got her?
Yeah, we were looking for chickens that were laying, and we came across a couple girls that were needing to get rid of some chickens that they had for 4-H, and so they raised them as chicks, and they were the tamest things. It was her and a gray Americana these 2 girls needed to get rid of, and so we took her, and she was the best chicken. Oh man, we could take her anywhere, we could hold her. She was just the tamest thing. We took her to the parade, didn't we?
The St. Patrick's Day parade.
Put a leash on her, and we dressed her up for Halloween one year. She was
a cowgirl.
Was a cowgirl, yeah. She's the same age as Uriah.
Sure enough.
It's hard losing an animal you've had a long time.
I don't know if we'll have a chicken as good as her again.
I know.
She was a good one.
I remember we almost lost her. Was it this past year?
A year or two ago, I think.
She got sick and we had to separate her out. give her some medicine and some electrolytes. She came out of it. I was afraid that she was going to die then. But she did really well till now. She was just fine just a couple days ago. She was out running around in the snow, getting lots of food. She came right up to us. She was in good spirits and moving around a lot. I don't know what happened, just she got too cold, or she's very thin. So I don't know if she just couldn't handle that cold weather. What do you want to do? It's so frozen outside. I would like to bury her, but is there a way we can figure something out?
Right now it's 14 degrees and it's going to be 0 and negatives over the next few days.
I want to go over there by the animal stuff, right?
I mean, we could go try to dig, but I don't know if we're going to be able to dig for a couple weeks.
You think we could put her in a wooden box and nothing will get into it? Like close it up, like nail it shut?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe put some rocks around it, on top of it and stuff?
Yeah, we can make her a box.
So we brought her in here and had some heat lamps on her. Got her some water and food, and I think she was just already too so cold or so weak already. She was fine last night though. Had the boys come out and check on her.
So we're coming out to move roosters around. We have a problem that I've noticed today. I've been out here a lot of the day. It's cold today, but it's gonna get even worse. And we've got roosters in the omelet coop. They can sleep in there just fine, but they won't come out because it's so cold. And we can't put food and water in there. It's like too small for it. A lot of these other coops, the chickens can live within, and then we can have the food and water in there. So we need to move them over here. Well, we've got we're injured roosters over here. We can move them around to a couple other coops where they'll be fine. And I can move those roosters over here. And then that way they'll be able to come out and get food and water. I'll bring some food and water in for them. So over here, this is our omelet coop. We're just closing that door up, but so they're not coming out and drinking the water or eating their food. And so we're just gonna pick them up, take them over to the other coops so they can be inside. Got the first rooster, good job, Uriah. So here's our bruise fighter rooster. Now let me get the last two here. This guy's trying to pick me. How mean. Here we go, 2, 3.
5.
All right, here we go. Now we got some food. We got water over here. We'll get him a bigger feeder tomorrow. There's our bruise fighter rooster. And then now we're making sure everybody's closed up. We got the eggs collected. We just had a couple cracked ones in the main flock from the cold air. Now tomorrow starts the true test of pain with 0-degree temps. So this egg is warm. Becky just found it on the emu shelter, which is a blessing because it is 0 degrees outside right now. She said all the other eggs they've got out there, the 5, have all cracked.
His eggs are cracking because he's not sitting on them. He's sitting down, but not on them. So we've got 1, 2, number 3, probably solid. They're so cold. 4, 5, and then there was a brand new one laid right here. I came in, it was still warm, so she must have just laid it. Take these in and just examine them, see if we could figure out if they're...
Oh, see if we can see a fertility spot. I don't know. I think it's gonna be mush.
You think so?
I think the yolk will have cracked, but we could try. But yeah, we can look for a fertility spot in the yolk, but I don't know. I think it's gonna be mush in there. All right, well we're in it now. It's -10 this morning, feels like -30, and trying to get the water to go.
Okay, the handle's frozen.
Got a little bit of water on it or something.
Handle.
So we've got our well and pump is way down past the pond back there, but then we've got a pump right in here, and so I had to build a cover for it and completely wrap it. Last year we had some frozen water, or we at least had to turn the water off every night, and this year it's been nice. We haven't had any frozen water with our well. Eli's somewhere under there. So peacocks are here in their shelter. It's a little better in here, but water still freezes pretty quick in here. Bulging out, they're freezing.
Why would it do that?
This is so cool.
Why Viper Jewed out so much?
I don't know. Over here we've got our smallest, our youngest chickens outside. Our Chamanis. Looks like they're all still alive. Down to about 5 degrees in here, but it's -10 and -30, so I'm outside of the wind. It's able to be a little warmer in here. This coop might have it the best of anybody. These guys are fully enclosed. Still got frozen water, but it doesn't feel too bad in here. So right here we've got the one coop that's open, is the duck coop. It automatically opened, but I would shut it down if they were inside. But they already came out today and they like to just sit in the snow versus sit in there. We've got all their food and water in here. So we've got a few roosters in there, and then we've got the ducks, and they're just sitting out, sitting on the freezing snow. Egg exploded and the yolk popped out.
We had a lot of exploding eggs here.
So any eggs that are laid would have been in the last hour or two. So they're pretty much freezing, cracking immediately. There's just no way to get them in time. So everybody's staying in here. We're keeping most of the cold air out, a couple cracks, but... Oh, flung over there. Becky's getting the horses fed while we're on the last couple coops. Check in on the mandarins here and see if they want to get in the water. Oh, still flowing a little bit there. So we're here at the aviary pond. We want to see how this will do if we need to break up the water when it gets really cold. Of course, it's -10, -30 with wind chill. And most of it's frozen over, but look at the waterfalls. Still flowing right under there, all the way down. So it's not getting much colder than this, so I think at least at the waterfalls it's gonna stay calm. You can see that water being pushed underneath the ice on top. So at least the ducks and everybody would still have water in this.
Yeah, they have a little bit of pool they swim in.
So we end up having a couple other chickens have some problems with the weather. We had an old blue-laced red Wyandotte that died from the cold, and we've got one of our older Chamanis hens that's in the brooder right now, just staying warm. She was looking really weak as well. And we have a lot of what ifs of like, what could we have done for Amber? You know, would have bring her inside, done anything different, but you know, I think sometimes it's just their time, and we're so happy to have the time that we had with her, but you know, it's something that was inevitable, that it was eventually going to be her time. So we're back here past the aviary where we have our pet cemetery, where we have Junior and Green Lantern, our ducks. We have Arrow, one of our cats, Lurkey, our turkey that died. Now we have the sweetest chicken of all, Amber, our oldest Americana chicken. Boys, you were 3 and 1 when we got Amber, and you both had some of your first pictures with chickens were with her. Uriah, I have just a ton of pictures with you and Amber. You really had a love for Bubbles, but you had some pictures with Amber too.
Amber's my favorite.
You miss Bella.
I know this is a sad situation of losing her this way, but I was always afraid of her getting eaten or taken by a predator, and I'd rather her have gone this way than something just coming up and getting her, because we were gone for a vacation and a predator came in and just took some of our animals, and that's how Johnny Cash was taken. And it just, and M&M too, she was a sweet little cat, but when they're just taken like that, there's no closure. And so I feel like this is, if an animal that we love
this is the way to go because we have closure. We can lay her to rest.
Amber was always willing to do whatever we asked of her. She'd come up and want us to hold her. We'd feed her. She had no problems being on the leash. When we took her to the St. Patrick's Day parade or wearing the cowboy hat, she might have flicked it off or something. But one of our viewers made a really special little stuffed chicken of Amber, a replica of her, and we have that to always remember her by. And so since it's too cold out here to bury any animal right now, we built this little casket for Amber so we can close her up, and then we'll put some rocks around it, and when it gets a little more thawed out, we can bury it in the ground. We don't want any predators. We don't want any predators getting her. I'm sure I'm going to look over the pictures, and every time I edit this, I'm working through the edit on this video, I start to cry thinking about losing her, but I remember the Dr. Seuss quote that was, "Don't cry that it's over, but smile because it happened." And I think she brought us so much joy that we're always going to smile and laugh over our great memories with her. We're going to miss you, Amber.
Bye, Amber. Goodbye, Amber.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never